What's up, everyone? Welcome into DodgerHeads, presented by DodgerBlue.com. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined today by Daniel Starkand. Daniel, some good news. It's been a tough week. We see the Corey Seager, congratulations on a great time with the Dodgers. Max Scherzer, congratulations on a great time with the Dodgers. But the good news comes at the end of the day. Ken Rosenthal reporting the Dodgers have reached an agreement to retain Chris Taylor, a guy you and I both said was absolutely critical for them to re-sign before this lockout starts tomorrow. Your reaction to Chris Taylor coming back? We don't have numbers, years, money, any of that yet. But where do you go first when you think about Chris Taylor coming back to the Dodgers?
Yeah. I mean, first, like you just said, like this is great news. Like I feel like we've been taking gut punch after gut punch so far this offseason, and now like we're about to go into a lockout, and we're gonna have like a month or however long, could be even
Yeah.
longer, without any signing. So I think we needed this good news before before doing that. We knew Chris Taylor was planning on signing before the lockout started, so it was just a matter of is he coming back or is he not. But I think both of you and I were both in agreement that this was a guy that once you lose Corey Seager, you needed to bring back Chris Taylor. Everyone knows how great Chris Taylor is, the versatility, and all that. So regardless of what the numbers are, you predicted 4 years, 65 million, which was in line with a lot of the other publications at the beginning of the offseason. I thought it'd be a little higher. I said 480. We'll see how it comes in, but I don't think that matters a whole lot. The important thing is that he's back.
Yeah, it's not my money. It's not your money. You can let us know in the comments below. 18 and a half's right in the middle. You think over, you're going with Daniel. Under, you're siding with me. But yeah, we both said if Corey Seager wasn't coming back, Chris Taylor became absolutely critical. I said this offseason for me, in my estimation, would reach panic mode if Chris Taylor was not retained by the Dodgers. Of course, a miraculous Freddie Freeman type signing would change that. But barring a Freddie Freeman signing, I thought Chris Taylor was absolutely priority number one. So good news that the Dodgers are bringing him back. And for me, the reason why I'm so excited about Chris Taylor, why I think a 4-year deal, even for a guy who is at his age, just turned 32, is I think he's going to last. And you look at the history, the injury history, it's been positive. His last 5 seasons, he has missed just 85 games. When I say missed, some of those were just, out of the lineup for one reason or another, not necessarily injuries. And over that stretch, over 5 years, his per 162, averaging 20 home runs, 13 steals, an OPS of 804, and a weighted runs created plus of 116. That on its surface is solid. It's like if you're getting a middle infielder with an over 800 OPS, a 116 weighted runs created plus, 20 home runs, 13 steals a year, you're like, wow, this is amazing. Well, add into the fact that he is now your either starter at some positions and default backup at just about everywhere else, and it's absolutely astonishing. His wins above replacement over the past 5 seasons, he's in company of guys like J.D. Martinez, DJ LeMahieu, Josh Donaldson, Joey Gallo, Anthony Rizzo, etc. So that said, do you think Dodger fans as a whole have an appropriate, acceptable appreciation for Chris Taylor and all that he brings? Or is the fact that he is a utility guy and isn't necessarily penciled in as one of the best second basemen or one of the best left fielders or one of the best shortstops, does that cause us to miss? I mean, I tend to think Dodger fans have an appreciation and other folks in the league don't, but where do you stand on whether Chris Taylor is appropriately appreciated?
Yeah, I think you just took the words out of my mouth. Like, I think if anyone knows and appreciates Chris Taylor, it is Dodger fans, just because we've watched him every day, and also like just because of where he's come
Yeah.
from. Like when the Dodgers trade for him from the Seattle Mariners, he was a quad A
Yeah.
guy who's like basically a triple A guy who you could call up and hope he's a guy with
He
the
was
glove who
Zach
you hope you
Rex
can
and
get
Luke
some hit out.
Raley and, fill in the blank.
Exactly. Exactly, like he was one of those type of guys. He completely, remodels his swing and has that breakout season with the Dodgers in 2017. And I think the question after that was like, can he
Yeah.
sustain it? And I think he's shown now, like for 4 or 5 years, that he absolutely can. So yeah, I think if anyone does appreciate him, it is Dodger fans. I've seen, kind of just looking through tweets and stuff, like when other teams were linked to him, there's some fans of, I think it was like Blue Jays fans, who were like, why are we going after this guy? Like, very
Mm.
underwhelming, and it's like you guys just don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, and I get it. Like, sometimes looking at the stats, like, it doesn't tell the whole story. But this is a guy who, like you said, he could fill in at every position. He's a plus bat. And I also think something that gets overlooked is he's a postseason
Yeah.
performer. He's got a good pulse for the big moments, as we've seen, with the walk-off home run in the wild card game last year, the 3 home run game. If you look at the numbers, he was the Dodgers' best player in the postseason
Yeah.
last year. So, for a team who is planning and hoping to win the World Series for many years to come, that's the type of guy you want. So I think this is a great day. happy to have CT3 back, and also happy for
Yeah.
him. Like this is we don't know the numbers yet, but he's going to be getting a big payday here, and it's well deserved.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned sort of the postseason heroics. One sort of question I think Dodger fans might have is this is a guy who struggled mightily in the second half of this past year. Over his last 60 games, I believe he hit about 220. That was rectified in the playoffs. He hits the big home run in the wild card game after your boy over here suggests that he shouldn't have even been in that game. He comes in, he hits a home run. But that just reminds me of just how bad he looked, how big the struggles were. Now, we've seen a decent sample size, again, dating back to 2017. Do you have any concerns about like there being some carryover of the struggles of the second half? Or was that just a slump that everybody goes through and we saw him snap out of it in the playoffs and no concerns moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't be concerned about any type of carryover. Like you see guys have really bad seasons and then really great seasons and vice versa. But I just think that's kind of the type of player he is. Like he's a really streaky
Yeah.
hitter. He's a guy who's gonna strike out a lot. Like he just has a big loopy swing. But you can't deny the success, and I'm not too worried. Like yeah, he'll probably go through his slumps, but he's also gonna have those times where he gets hot and could carry a team. Which for a utility guy, like there's not many guys out there
Yeah.
who could do that. So I think I'm not concerned at all. Like I think you could look at the overall body of work and see that no, he's probably not like a superstar type player, but he's like a borderline all-star, really good player. And I think that's something Dodgers need, like with especially with the
Yeah.
versatility. Like he's gonna fill a lot of needs for this team, both defensively and
Yeah, I
offensively.
mean that's the thing. Like if you're going to pay this guy 16 to 20 million somewhere in there, you might see an 804 OPS and say, "Okay, we got a guy who's 16% above league average according to weighted runs created plus." Like in the teens for home runs, 10 stolen bases, that kind of thing, hitting 260. Like, are we really getting our money's worth? The thing that I think Dodger fans appreciate is the versatility. And for me, that's where all the value is. Like, you look at the way the Dodgers roster is currently constructed. Chris Taylor is your backup at every single position outside of first base and catcher. And when I say backup, I don't mean that he won't be playing. I mean, he's your starter at one of those positions with the ability to fill in. So right now, you probably pencil him in either as the everyday second baseman with Gavin Lux sort of the rotating guy, or the everyday third baseman if Justin Turner is going to be your primary DH, which they're expected to add. But even with some of the news we just got, Max Muncy, torn UCL, will he be ready for spring training? We have no idea. Well, if he's not, guess what? Cody Bellinger slides from center field to first base. Chris Taylor plays center field. You don't miss a beat. If AJ Pollock needs a day off at the DH, Chris Taylor slides into left field. If Trey Turner needs a day off, Chris Taylor's playing shortstop. He's playing second. He's playing third. He's playing right field for Mookie. Like, he fills all of these needs. And to be able to do that and still be an above average offensive player on top of that and still be a guy that you can count on in the biggest moments, that is what I think is the biggest deal for the Dodgers. Because the last thing they want is a situation where, hey, we've got a star-studded lineup, but oh shoot, we lose our left fielder and we don't have anybody else who can play there, and all of a sudden we're back to AAA guys again. Chris Taylor is your protection against that. Jaime Herrin tweeted, after seeing KK Hernandez leave and what he ended up doing, this was protection against that, which I think is a great point. But to me, that's the value of Taylor. And even just looking at the lineup, right now, the Dodgers lineup, if the season were to start tomorrow, good news, it does not. But Mookie Betts batting leadoff, Trey Turner second, Will Smith third, Max Muncy fourth, Justin Turner fifth, Cody Bellinger, AJ Pollock, Chris Taylor, Gavin Lux. Now, you could argue with me, does Taylor deserve to be higher, Bellinger lower, whatever. But I mean, that is an absolutely stacked 1 through 9, and depending on what you think of Gavin Lux, I'm high on him, but an absolutely loaded lineup, and Chris Taylor makes that happen because that lineup doesn't change. If a guy needs a day off, guess what? It's the same 9 guys in there every single day because Chris Taylor just fills holes all over the place.
Yeah, yeah, and I also think one other thing is like a lot of times when you have like a guy who's got versatility and they're moving all
Yeah.
around and not necessarily playing every single day, like they might be unhappy in that
Yep.
role. But something I think we've talked about a lot is that Chris Taylor is the one guy who really doesn't mind
Yeah.
it, and you're not going to hear a single
Nope.
complaint out of him. And I think the fact that he's into that is he probably easily could have signed elsewhere and gone and been like an everyday second baseman or an everyday
Yeah.
left fielder somewhere. But he's choosing to come back here where he knows his versatility is going to get utilized. He's going to be playing all over, but he's totally fine with it. And he's, you're not going to hear a single complaint out of the guy. So I
Yeah.
think stuff like that also, like there's no number for that.
Yeah.
There's not like that's intangible. And I think like just a great guy to have in your clubhouse.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say about this when it comes to versatility, and we learned this last year with Zach McKinstry, just because you are labeled as a guy who can be a utility man does not mean you are good at all of those positions defensively.
Right.
Chris Taylor is a good center fielder. He is a good left fielder. He is a good shortstop. He is a good second baseman. He's a good third baseman. He is a quality player at all of those positions. I'm not saying he's going to win a gold glove at any of them, but I'm just saying you don't put him in any of those spots and cross your fingers and hope for the best. It's, hey, you know what?
Right.
This is going to be solid. And so that is rare. The offense is rare. The willingness to accept the role is rare. The fit in the clubhouse we already know is a good thing. The clutch gene is rare. And so all in all, again, we don't know the numbers. We don't know the years. Honestly, I don't really care. I trust Friedman to make a responsible decision, and they needed him back regardless of what the number was. So I love this signing for the Dodgers. Again, we'll have all the latest news at DodgerBlue.com once the numbers and the years come out. But the good news is Ken Rosenthal reporting this afternoon, the Dodgers and Chris Taylor have reached an agreement, and he will be back with the Dodgers next year, getting this in ahead of the collective bargaining agreement, which is set to expire tonight. So that's Daniel Starkand. My name's Jeff Spiegel. Let us know what you think below, where you think these numbers might come in. We'll be back as soon as we get some numbers, as soon as we get some more information, as we look ahead to what this means moving forward. Could the Dodgers have a Freddie Freeman move still in them today? Yet to be determined. That's Daniel Starkand. My name's Jeff Spiegel. We appreciate you joining us as always. We'll see you soon.